March is Women's History Month, and we're bringing you a series of stories focused on celebrating women.
1 in 8 people in the United States struggle to put food on their plates. Laura Smith introduces one woman to a mission to lower that number, one garden at a time.
How long have you been helping out in the garden for?
Age is just a number.
There's nothing that you can't do. All right, give me a high five.
Katie Stagliano proving that it's never too early to achieve your dream.
I started all of this when I was 9 years old.
Her dream is to reduce food insecurity in the United States. It's a real and big problem. 40 million people live in a household that's food insecure, including more than 12 million children.
That's parsley.
So back in 2008, as a third grader, Katie got to work in the garden.
I brought my seedling home, I planted it in my backyard, and it just kept growing and growing.
And before she knew it, the cabbage checked in at a whopping 40 pounds.
And I was just blown away. I didn't even know cabbages could grow to be that big. And I was like, this is far too much food for my family and I to eat.
It was at that moment that Katie knew exactly what she wanted to do with the cabbage.
I decided that I wanted to donate my cabbage to a soup kitchen.
That 40-pound cabbage fed 275 people.
Imagine how many people an entire garden could feed.
Her dream planted, and from that, her nonprofit, Katie's Krops, grew.
And that was just the start of Katie's Krops. It kind of all snowballed from there.
Snowballed into a nonprofit that now has 100 gardens growing in 31 states across the country.
And all of these gardens are run by youth between the ages of 9 and 16 at schools, in their backyards, community centers, churches.
And I've had parents say, how did you get my child to eat salad? How did you get them to eat lettuce? It's because they planted it and they harvested it. They got to touch and feel it.
Bottom line, this is the kind of impact Katie's Krops is having around the country.
And it's so important for kids to learn about gardening at an early age, learn how to be able to feed themselves, feed their neighbors, about giving back.
In Summerville, South Carolina, I'm Laura Smith.
Katie's Krops encourages girls and boys to start gardens. Last year, the organization donated more than 40,000 pounds of fresh produce to people in need. Some of that came from right here in Austin. Ian McKenna joined Katie's Krops 4 years ago. This is video from a hunger awareness dinner that he hosted while he was in middle school to bring attention to the cause. Ian's in high school now, but he's still an active part of Katie's Krops. He and his younger sister Addison oversee 2 gardens in Austin, and Ian tells us that he's working to get a new garden started at Metz Elementary in East Austin. We're celebrating women all month long. You can see some of those stories right now in a special section of KXAN.com. Go to the news menu and click on the link for Women's History Month.